Welcome to Toffee TV. We're here to talk about a couple of articles that have appeared this week in The Athletic, written by Greg O'Keefe and Paddy Boyland. If you want to sign up for The Athletic, do it, because it is very, very good. Very, very good. Some of the best writers in the world. Dedicated content for Everton Football Club. None of that nonsense, no pop-ups, no clickbait nonsense that you see anywhere else. Some really, really good stuff. Stories that matter about Everton Football Club. So if you want to check that out, the link is in the description. There's a 30-day free trial, and then it's 50% off for the year. The link is in the description, as I said, and it's well worth it. And we're going to, as you're going to hear from, we're going to talk about a couple of stories. There's a really good story last week, actually, that we should have spoke about, which was a brilliant interview with Kevin Morales from Paddy, which was really, really good, which we should have spoke about, but we didn't. But we're going to speak about this. We're going to speak about the article that appeared this week in The Athletic regarding the training ground and how the clear the air talks surrounding the last couple of weeks after Everton's 4 defeats in a row, and how things have changed with a combination of the manager talking to the players and having meetings and clearing the air and stuff.
Yeah, it was a good article, and it was a bit of an insight, because you don't really get that anymore with journalists, or even, and you know what, Everton are to blame for this as well, because they don't give us enough stuff. And we've seen, as it happens now, we've seen an interview, but it's only 9 minutes with Marco Silva. But you know, I'm hoping the club have another couple of them. But that was behind the paywall, so to speak. So you had to be a season ticket holder or a member to view it. So, but we've said before, and I think this is one of the problems that some supporters have with Marco Silva, that they just don't know him. So it's about getting to, you know, what's his principles, what does he want to do, you know, what's he like on the training ground, away from it. And this article that Paddy and Greg had co-written, actually, gave us a little bit of insight in the build-up to the West Ham game, and obviously on the back of the West Ham performance. And, you know, I think it's really interesting to hear about that clear the air talks, which, to be honest, those kind of talks are going on all the time, really, at a football club. But I think sometimes when it got as bad as it did, you know, I think the manager's probably realised that his back's against the wall. You know, he really is. He's in a difficult situation. There's no two ways about it. I think some of the players, you know, have got to stand up and be counted. They're not doing what they should be doing. So to get that break in the international, you know, window and try to have a look at what's gone on, maybe him and the coaching staff have had a look at a few things, got the players back, let the players say what they think's going wrong, and then try to come to a happy medium. It's good to see that that's taking place at Everton, because I think some people started believing, and it was written in the press as well, that he's very stubborn and he's got his own ways and he doesn't listen to certain things or whatever. Whether that's right or wrong, the minute someone's written it, it becomes out there, doesn't it? So this was a more balanced view.
I think the problem is, though, like you just mentioned there, that if there's nothing coming out from the club or out from, we're not seeing or hearing things, then those gaps get filled now very, very quickly. And we've seen that on a lot of things with Everton, regarding whether it be the players, the manager, or the potential new stadium. It all just gets filled, and when it's quiet, you know, I heard this and I heard that. We've seen all that nonsense in the last few weeks, especially when things are not going well. And I think what was interesting about the article, it was, you know, quite clear that it all come from good sources, and I found very interesting that obviously it was international weekend. Some players weren't called up and stayed behind, played in the game against Wigan, and then when the players came back, they normally get to choose between the day after they come back, the 3 o'clock or the 5 o'clock. But he got them in 3 o'clock, all of them. They sat down, they had a meeting. One of the first things he spoke about was the marking, zonal marking, and senior the defenders saying, no, we want to try man mark, and we want to go to do something different. And that was quite interesting, because Marco Silva has always done zonal marking. But if the players were telling him, now I don't really have a problem with zonal marking. I think if it's done right and players are switched on, then it can be done. And the reason teams like doing it is because you don't have to set up for different teams. You can just do what you want to do. But the players obviously feel that maybe the makeup of the other players doesn't lead to a setup that works for everyone. So they wanted to go back to man-to-man marking, which they did for the West Ham game.
They done part, didn't they? Part man-to-man and part zonal.
And for the most part in the West Ham game, it seemed to work. Okay, they nearly scored from one corner, but there's a lot of factors contributing to that. You know,
it shouldn't have been a corner.
It shouldn't have been a corner.
It was the first one.
Sidibe was off the pitch. It was a little bit of a scramble getting him on the pitch, and you know. So, but I do think that reading something like this and seeing that it is a combined effort, and it's not just a case of, well, the manager has it his way, because ultimately that would be the downfall of the manager being too stubborn to change the way he's doing things.
When the players are asking for it.
Just when, and the fact that the players are able to speak their mind and say, right, these are the things that we think we need to sort out. And that's what you need from a group as well. You need a group and leaders in the group to stand up and say, this isn't good enough. We need to make this change ourselves. But ultimately, the go-ahead's got to come from the manager.
Well, yeah, I mean, no, I'm quite sure all the best teams throughout the world, and even Pep's team, you know, you watch the All or Nothing documentary, players have input all the time. You know, Fabian Delph in particular in that documentary, Vincent Kompany, people like that have input in what they think they need to be doing right or wrong. Now, a manager might take some of it on board and go, yeah, you're right there, we need to do that. But ultimately stick to his principles. And that's fine, because you can't be pressured into doing things you don't think works. But if the players aren't comfortable doing what you're asking them to do, there has to be some bend and give. And if that's what's happened in terms... Now listen, West Ham had 2 corners. Yeah. So I don't think we can sit there and go, oh, it was great, the man-to-man marking. No. It solved everything. We don't know. Well, there'll be a much more of a test this weekend. However, it looks like Yerry Mina's not going to play, so that'll throw up something different again. Mason Holgate coming in. But we have to, you know, you have to trust in the manager that he's there to learn as well. He's a young manager. He's got to trust his players, and they've got to trust him. And how do you build trust? By working together. You don't build the trust by going, you do everything I say, or it's, you know, my way or the highway, so to speak. He'll have a clear line, but they should, as players, they're the ones playing the game. So if they feel like this will work better if we do this, or this, and he's open to that, why not? It's not working what we were trying before, so why not try? And it wasn't just the zonal marking, obviously. We don't know whether people have, you know, players have said we need to be more attacking, or we need, you know, you don't know what was said, other than they looked at every little thing and they come up with a different way to approach the game last Saturday against West Ham, and it worked.
Yeah, and obviously there's other factors as well, players coming into the side and seeing what would work best against the West Ham side, and what would be the best fit for the system. Or what we
targeted like Declan Rice and things, didn't he?
What we got mentioned as well, but also leaders. You know, mentioned in the article on Tom Davis, and how, you know, he's mentioned as an animal around Finch Farm, and how hard he trains, and how much of a leader he is in the dressing room now, and how vocal he is, and you know, come Saturday, he didn't let us down at all, and that's another interesting side. It's like, you know, seeing the characters. We don't always see the characters of the player. We see on a match day players turn out, and they're obviously very, very professional and have to put across a certain persona. But knowing, you know, learning that Tom Davis is a leader amongst men at Finch Farm, and that's really important. And I think that's something that, you know, I think personally the club needs to get over more and more and more to fans who some fans just don't think he's a good enough player. And it's interesting as well as saying that they believe he's very much a player for the present, but also the future. He just has to get that consistency. Well, he's not going to get consistency if he doesn't play games for a start. But it's interesting, obviously, he had played 2 in England under 21 games off the back of that. So that's again, learning more about players and humanising them isn't a bad thing. In fact, it's a good thing, and it's something, again, Everton should be doing more and more and more about. You know, I would love to see, you know, you mentioned before the Man City, I'd love to see a documentary about Everton and how people tick behind the scenes and how people are in training. Obviously, we get the very glossy videos of in training, and last season a lot of fans said how good, seeing these videos of in the tunnel and during the week in training, but again, even that at times can be just a little bit too glossy, I suppose. So really interesting article, and the article I followed on was about Theo Walcott and saying how he's a player that has had to look at himself for the few weeks, and certainly since the Wolves game when he was out the squad, starting to question why he wasn't in the squad and what he had to do. And a lot of people were shocked by the fact that he was in the Man City starting team, and obviously he got the injury and couldn't play, and obviously for the Burnley game, but then started in this game. And it almost feels like, he's got that hunger back. He's putting extra work in training. According to the article, he's in the gym more, he's on the training field more, he's got a desire to be part of the Everton team. And when we talk about starting 11s and getting it on merit, that's one of the factors, isn't it? That's one of the factors about being in the Everton team, is that you're doing it in training and you're showing that manager that you should be in the team.
Yeah, I mean, as fans, we put, rightly so, I suppose, but we put most of our emphasis on the match, but what we forget sometimes is that they're judged on what they do all week. We just look and go, they're our best 11 players, they should play. And that's fine, but for all we know, 2 of our best 11 players are crap in training, aren't putting it in, aren't working, aren't whatever. I think any football, any lad who's ever played, or woman who's ever played footy and is out the team, you're frustrated because you want to play. And then you'd have to look at how you get back in. And for professionals, it's very difficult. The only thing you can do is knuckle down and get your head right. And I think sometimes for pros, it seems, and for fans, like on the outside looking at it, like players are just too comfortable and we just do this and we can just do that. So it's great when you hear one that's had to examine what he's doing right and work doubly hard to get back. And you should never stop wanting to learn. Ever, as a footballer. Theo Walcott's 30, right? He's still dead quick. He could still cause a lot of problems. He could still be an important Everton squad member. Now, I'm not saying he should play every week, but if he plays like he did at the weekend, then why shouldn't he play every week? Because it's up to someone to get better than him to get in the team. So I like the fact that he's been shocked enough to be out the squad to have to have a response.
Well, if he trains that hard, though, that's going to make other people train just as hard, to say, in the article as well, it's saying about how hard Schneiderlin trains and how hard Tom Davies trains and Theo Walcott. It's important that every single player feels like there's a chance to get in the team if they're working hard and they're showing the manager in training, they're giving them something to think about, and it isn't just the same 11 week in, week out. We've criticised Marco Silva, certainly last season in tougher spells, for not using more players in the first team. Now, for all I know, that might come down to not enough players in training and showing that they deserve.
Well, I mean, last season there was a little bit of an excuse as that it felt like he didn't trust more than 13 or 14 players. It wasn't the right thing to do.
But where does that trust come from, though? It's the
performance,
maybe the lack of performance in training.
Well, that's it.
You look at someone like Adam Ola-Luckman, that people say maybe he could have done more. We could have done more with him, but for the last 2 years, what's he been doing in training? And what's he doing in training at Leipzig, where he's not getting in the side either? You play one game a week generally, maybe 2 at a push, but you're training the rest of the week. That you're getting paid to put the hard work in and day out on the training pitch. And this is a manager who feels like that's a big part of, where his team selection comes from. If he has to make minor calls in terms of,
this was something David Moyes was very big on. You set your standards Monday to Friday, what you're going to do Saturday. You can't coast in the week and then somehow turn it on at the weekend. Not maybe Messi can, but I don't know. They were the best players in the world.
But I also think this comes from also pre-season as well. There's no coincidence that the players who tend to think had bad pre-seasons, who almost coast through pre-seasons, having a good start to the season, they've just continued that. I'm not saying they're not working hard, but sometimes it's that you need that jolt and maybe changing the side and giving these players a reminder that there is competition. People have been calling for it for the few weeks, But now it's happened, maybe because the manager feels like he's had a couple of weeks to have a think about things. But it's so important, I think, that the players first start having an input and are telling the manager what they think works and what doesn't work, and then the manager decides what's best for the team based on all the information he's got.
Well, if you're the two sides to that is, if you're a player and you want to voice your opinion and you think the manager is going to listen, you're going to respect that manager more because he's taking on board what you're saying. Now, he's not always going to agree with you because managers look at things differently than players do, of course. As a player, you're looking at it from a selfish point of view. Managers got to look at the whole team and how it all fits together. But if you feel like your voice isn't heard, that's going to demotivate you, and you're going to start thinking, I hasn't got a clue, this fella, and he hasn't got this and that. And it happens with footballers, doesn't it? Look at the end of Martinez's reign, the famous image of telling Baines at Anfield, and Baines is looking like anywhere else and blowing like as if to say, what are you talking about? So players are like that. And then the second thing as well, when you're talking about setting standards on the training ground and going out and working hard and feeling like you can get in, 4 of lads out of our academy now training with the first team. Now, it's about setting them their standards when they go in. Now, if they walk over, they get called over, which is a big thing. We've just seen the training video this week. Morgan Feeney's gone in there because obviously Yerry Mina's not training with the first team. He's gone in there. If he sees players wandering around and not really putting it in or whatever, then you go to what you have to do. You play at that level, so to speak. You go into a new job and people are like, I can take the piss here. People start doing it because they you know what I mean? So
definitely.
If you go in like Anthony Gordon's there every day, Adam Aaron, Lewis Gibbs, they see it's 100%, their development will go up because they have to remain with that first team. They have to perform at this level. Whereas if it's just come over here and, well, there's no point trying here because them 11 play every week anyway. It sets the wrong message. And so that's what I found interesting about those 2 articles, that it does seem to be a bit of a two-way communication. I hope that continues. I hope the players continue to do that. Because if that happens and they work together, there's more chance that this manager will get more right than wrong. Yeah. But if he just thinks it's me or it's my way or the highway, so to speak, very quickly players at every club, the manager's out the door because it's easier to get rid of 1 than 20. That's, so let's hope that they've turned this a little bit of a corner, but we won't know, will we?
Let's hope they have. And players are just, listen, as long as players are working hard, I think the quality will normally come to, get to the top.
We'll win and lose games, but if they're working hard, they'll win more than they lose. End of story.
There you go. A couple of great articles, as I said. It's on The Athletic. If you want to check that out, the link is in the description. Lots of brilliant Everton coverage. And there's coverage of all teams and football in general. Some great stories on there. No clickbait.
No, it's not. The proper sports articles really aren't they? That's the difference.
So there you go. And if you want to, so make sure you click the link in the description if you want to check that out. Thanks for watching Toffee TV. We'll see you later.